let's take a look at the inventory module. So I'll go ahead and click on inventory. So these are the functions that are available for inventory. This is where I'm going to go to manage my items in the store, to create new items, to edit my items, etc. This is where I would go to set my bin locations, my mins and maxes, and any unique pricing that I may have. This function allows you the ability to manage all your barcodes. You can have unlimited barcodes for a single item. So that means if you have multiple vendors, you can store all of their barcodes. If you have items that are set up based on unit of measure, so let's say a 6-pack and each a 12-pack, a 4-pack, you can define all of those units, have a unique price and a barcode associated with it. You can print barcodes out of Counterpoint. We work with the zebra printers, which I mentioned previously. This is where you would go to create bill of materials. So this would be raw materials that go into producing a finished product. And then sales kits is for the liquor industry. You might want to use a sales kit during the holidays to put together a gift basket, or maybe if you do drink of the month promotions where you compile ingredients in a single kit. You might want to do something like that with sales kits. You can also use sales kits for upselling. So you can define a kit that asks a question, and then you can add that item to the ticket. So very cool feature, lots of functionality. Sales forecasting. So this allows you the ability to generate a forecast. So you can look back at inventory quantities last summer and define if you want to replenish your stock based on last summer's quantities times a percentage or what have you. But forecasting is a pretty powerful module. The system allows you to do adjustments. So if you receive something incorrectly, you can do an inventory adjustment. Physical counts are built into Counterpoint. It allows you the ability to freeze sections of your store, create a worksheet, enter in your count, and that can be done either through the system on a laptop, or you can actually utilize a handheld unit to do that, importing. So it's a powerful feature, and there are tools available that help you accomplish that task. Transfer functionality lets you move merchandise from one store to the other. So if I was going to go ahead and transfer merchandise out of my store, I'd pick the items that I'm going to transfer out, select the store location that it's going to, and it would produce a receivings for that store to bring in and allow you to print out all the necessary documentation that accompanies the merchandise. Pricing. This is where you're going to go to define unique prices for your items, or you can define mix and match promotions. So this would be like buy one, get one promotions, BOGOs. You can define specials and then promotional prices. So a promotional price might be a Labor Day promo, where you have certain items on sale for that event. And that starts with a start and an end date. And there are multiple variables that allow you to bring that into the promotion. So you can say all wine is on sale, or you can say all wine from California is on sale, or you can say craft beers specifically from Vermont are on sale. You can do a lot of very cool things with that pricing module. Contract pricing is for defining unique prices based on a customer type. So this would be great for like an employee, a senior discount, maybe a military, something like that. And then I'll jump right over to price sheets because I think that's important as well. If you have a vendor that goes up on their pricing, you can actually create an actual price sheet of all of their items, and you can increase those prices for all of those items and then define rounding up and so forth. Look at how that's going to look in your system and then make it active. And then if need be, you can print out new labels for that. All right, and then in inventory, you have the ability to look at views. So the one I like to show is the inventory detailed view. So this allows me to look at all of my items. Now keep in mind it's demo data, so the quantities are not accurate. Um, so I can look at all my items here. I can filter down by category. So if I just want to look at my bourbons, I can look at that. Um, I can also take this data and export it out to an Excel spreadsheet if I want to. But let's take a look at the data it gives you. So you can look at your item number, description, location, status, um, your minimums, maximums, the quantity available, quantity committed, what's on purchase order, shows you what's in transfer, allows you to look at orders, layaways, special orders, drop ships to customers, um, and drop ships on PO, and then gives you your net quantity totals. This is a filter. This basically means that you can filter down to just about any view that you want. As long as the record is in inventory, we can filter down on that. And you can add a filter box into this view. This is what comes standard, but if I wanted to, I could just do a right click and then customize, and then I could add my craft beers in here. So I could filter down by craft beers in various states, or my country code, or whatever I've defined, or even like if I have unique departments set up. So it's a cool way to get at your data quickly. And then inventory has the majority of the reports in Counterpoint. So this is where you can go to look at your merchandise analysis report to show you your leaders and your laggers as far as products, your sell-through report, historical 6-week, 12-month aging reports, mins and max reports, commitment inventory report, sales kit report. So yeah, there's a ton of reports in the inventory system. This just breaks it down by historical reports and general reports. So yeah, so that's inventory. The next thing I want to take a look at is purchasing. So I'm going to go into the purchasing module, and let's say I'm a store looking to generate a purchase request. I can go here, purchase request, click purchase request, enter, and then this allows me the ability to just start ordering product. So I can pick a vendor, let's say my craft beer distributor, define my ship to. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this. If I click allocated, this means I'm purchasing product for all of my stores. So you have the ability to do an allocated purchase order. So I can buy for all of my stores. I can create separate orders that will ship directly to the stores, or I can create orders that will come to a central location and then automatically create transfers once received based on the quantities needed at the individual stores to go out to those locations. So it's a nice feature when you need to order for all stores. Okay. So this tab basically just defines your order date, allows you to have a define delivery date. If I don't receive it by that delivery, what is my cancel date? And then now I can just go in and start ordering product. I can add a ring item. Oh, this happens to be an item that doesn't have a vendor on record, but I'm going to go ahead and still add it to my purchase order. Okay, I can also hit this add items button. What that's basically going to do is it's going to save what I'm working on and go out to a worksheet where I can tell the system to essentially suggest what I should buy. So this says suggest quantities based on, and I can do that based on my mins and maxes, replenishment, days of supply, or customer only orders. So if you allow customers to do special purchases. So I'm going to do it based on maximums. Okay, and I'm going to have it suggest my quantities. Okay, and it's going to adjust for any open POs, purchase requests, etc. So I'll go ahead and hit next. Hit yes. And so this is what it's suggesting I buy. So these are my suggested quantities. So I can go ahead and pick a couple. Let's pick 3, and then we'll add those lines to my purchase order. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and next. Close. Okay, and so here are the items added to my purchase order. So at this point, I can go ahead and hit the post button. It's asking me if I want to post, if I'm sure, and then go through that process of posting, printing a purchase order, and then sending it out to the vendor. Okay, it's going to pop up some forms here. And this is what my purchase order form looks like. This can be customized too. Okay, and I can go ahead and email this purchase order form out also. Okay, now I'm going to close this. All right, so we just did a purchase order. We sent it over to the vendor. So the next step is receiving that merchandise in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the enter button to receive. Auto assign my receiver. These are my open purchase orders, and this is the purchase order I just did. Okay, so I can go ahead and hit OK. I'm going to bring that in. Hit yes, OK to this. And then these are the items that I just purchased. So I can now go through this process of saying, well, I expected 12. Did I get 12? And go through that counting process. So then my Odell's IPA, I expected 200. Did I get 200? Left-hand stout. Okay. All right, so I've received all those. And at this point, I can go ahead and hit post. It's asking me, am I sure I want to post? So yes. It'll show me my receivings journal. And again, these reports are popping up because it's a demo. So it doesn't have to go through that process. You can define what you want to see. And this is my receiver form. And then done. So the next step really is just to go out and print labels if you're printing labels. Okay. So with regards to purchasing, so we do have an enhancement that is called Easy Buy that I could send you information on if you're interested. It just allows you to go through that process that we just went through in kind of a Excel type format. There is also a purchasing advice that you can run. So you can do a purchasing advice report based on replenishment, based on all the same categories that we just did the automated purchase order. So replenishment, maximum days of supply. Okay. And then forecast driven replenishment, customer specific purchases. So kind of everything we went through in that first demonstration. All right, so that is the purchasing module. Okay. So if we keep going down in the line, so sales history is just a number of historical reports. The e-commerce application mentioned is really just for integrating to an e-commerce system. Time cards lets you clock in and clock out. Data interchange lets you move data from Counterpoint, so export out, and move data into Counterpoint, so import in. Okay. System-wide features, this is where we go to define your accounting integration, okay, as well as gift cards, store credits. And then we have some various views here as well. Okay, the one thing I wanted to show you, I've talked a lot about my craft beers and my country code for wine and so forth. So I want to show you how I set that up. So I'm going to go into setup. The setup function is where you're going to go to set your store up the way you want it to look. So If I go into setup and then setup system, I just want to show you in quick setup what I did here. So this is my liquor store, and then I have profile fields and attributes available for my items. So these are basically free-formed fields that you can turn on and make your own. So what I did here is I have a code-based field. When I say codes, it means that there's a menu behind it that I can pick from, defined for taste. So this is something I might want to assign to my bottles of wine so that I can filter by that. If a customer comes up and says, hey, I'm looking for a bottle of wine that is smooth, and then I can do a filtered lookup by that. I also, under item attributes, set up a country code and a craft code for my craft beer, and then a department code. So I basically just checked each of these items and then built a code base behind it. So here, for country, I've now defined various countries that I stock my wine in. So I could do a filtered zoom on that. Same thing with craft beer. And if you watch the point of sale demonstration, I demonstrated how you might utilize that feature. So again, these are free-formed fields that you can make your own. You simply click it and define it, and then it becomes part of your database. So from these fields, you can build reports based on them. You could do filtered lookups. You can also discount product based on these fields as well. So you have these in items, you have them in customers, there's these fields in purchasing, and then in point of sale. Right, so that's the setup feature. And that is the conclusion of my demonstration.